Have you ever had that feeling, that you're just missing something? Well, today, we're diving into a sermon that's all about one powerful idea, the principle of spiritual sight, and what it really means to have your eyes opened to a reality that was there the whole time. So the sermon we're looking at kicks off with a really compelling question. What if your reality is just a matter of perception? The argument here is that our biggest obstacle isn't a lack of resources, but a failure of vision, an inability to see what's sitting right in front of us. To really drive this point home, the sermon uses three pretty dramatic stories from the Bible. And we start out in the wilderness with the story of Hagar. So picture this. The scene is bleak. Hagar and her son Ishmael are out of water. From where she's standing, the situation is absolutely hopeless. All she can see is scarcity and, well, the end. And this right here is the turning point. The text is super specific about this. God doesn't just snap his fingers and create a well. He simply opens her eyes. So the huge takeaway from this first story is that the solution, that well, it was there all along. The problem wasn't a lack of water. It was Hagar's inability to see it. Her perception, not her circumstances, was the real barrier. All right, the second story builds on this same idea, but it shifts the focus a bit, from having what you need to being protected during a crisis. Can you imagine waking up to that? The servant looks out and sees an entire enemy army, chariots, horses, the whole deal, circling their city. His first reaction? Just pure terror. I mean, all he can see with his own two eyes are impossible odds and a very grim ending. And here we go again. The solution isn't about changing what's happening. It's about changing what's being seen. So get this. Elisha doesn't pray for the enemy to just vanish. Nope. He prays for his servant's eyes to be opened. And bam! Suddenly, the servant sees a whole new reality on top of the old one. This massive, divine army, way more powerful than the threat down below. So the lesson here is that feeling vulnerable, a lot of the time, it's just because we have blinders on. What looks like a totally exposed, dangerous situation might actually be a well-protected one, if only we had the vision to see the full picture. Okay, so this final story really hammers the point home. This time it's about divine guidance and the danger of being completely blind to what's right in front of you. In this case, the danger isn't some big army you can see from a distance. It's an invisible threat standing right in the middle of the road. Balaam is just strolling along totally confident with no idea, none, that he's seconds away from walking straight into a fatal trap. And just like the other stories, the physical reality doesn't change. The angel was there the whole time. The only thing that shifts is Balaam's perception, the exact moment his eyes are opened. So this story adds another layer, right? Having open eyes isn't just about seeing what you need or who's protecting you. It's like this critical warning system, helping you spot hidden dangers and avoid making a huge mistake. Okay, so after setting the stage with these three stories, the sermon brings it all together into one big central idea. And that big idea is what the sermon calls having enlightened eyes. And listen, this has nothing to do with your 2020 vision. It's talking about a kind of spiritual or intellectual awakening, where your inner eyes are, and I'm quoting here, flooded with light, which completely changes how you see your life and everything around you. And this is where it all clicks into place. This whole concept of enlightened eyes ties everything together so neatly. It lets you see provision, like the well Hagar saw, protection, like the chariots of fire, and guidance, like the angel Balaam saw. And at the end of the day, that all leads to hope and real wisdom. So, if this kind of perception is so important, how do you get it? Well, the sermon doesn't just leave you hanging. It moves from explaining the what to detailing the how. And it all comes down to a practical call to action. And the key here is that this is presented as an active, intentional process. The sermon lays out these specific, scripture-based prayers designed to help cultivate this spiritual sight. It's about asking for your understanding to be enlightened, asking to see wondrous things, asking for guidance that's actually profitable, and finally, asking for the ability to tell the right voice from all the wrong ones. And all of this leads to what is maybe the most mind-bending conclusion of the whole sermon. If you can actually make this shift in perception, your entire reality gets reframed. The chase is over. You stop running after things, because with enlightened eyes, you start to understand that those things, whether it's money, a job, or just peace, they're actually looking for you. So, at the end of the day, that's the big idea we're left chewing on. This isn't just about faith, it's about a fundamental shift in how you see the world. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What wells, what armies, what angels are right there in front of us, just hidden in plain sight, waiting for our eyes to be opened.